Welcome to Radio Afrika International. You're listening to the Black Experience. This is Rilo Mugachi, and today we have a superstar in the building. Welcome, Niki Tall, aka Oyinbo Boy.
Hey.
What's up?
Thank you so much for having me, man. Yeah, it's actually my first time right now here in Austria and having this opportunity straight up to enter one of the biggest radio stations officially like that. That's a very big honor.
I like that, man. So you are an international known musician. You have been to a lot of places already.
Yeah.
You have been in London, Canada, Hungary, but you haven't been to Austria. Could you give an Austrian audience a small introduction of who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so first of all, my Austrian people, I hail you. Auch for those ones, die auch Deutsch sprechen, schön gegrüßt seid ihr alle. Ich komme selber ja aus Deutschland, so I'm from Germany. My dad is Greek, my mom is German. I was born and raised in Germany, and I fall in love with Afrobeat music because the music that I do is actually Afrobeats music. I fall in love with Afrobeats back in 2008. And I used to grow up as a musician in a musical family. And then when my older brother took me out to go to the club, there was a time I was listening to Afrobeat music, and then I fall in love with the music, made one cover, put it on YouTube. It went viral, and now I'm here.
It's a crazy story, man. I think it's funny because you are half German, half Greek.
Yeah.
You were born and raised in Germany,
Yeah.
and now you are a Nigerian superstar. Could you give me the story behind that? Your brother took you to the club.
Yeah, so that was actually the first time I got in contact with Afrobeats music. Okay. I grew up in a small city called Nienburg that is close to Hanover. And when I was like 16, 17 years old, my older brother that is 2 years older than me, he took me to the club. And then there was like a Nigerian DJ and he played some Afrobeat tunes those days. That was around 2008, 9. And by that time, I was listening to one song, and you know the feeling when you're listening to a song and you don't understand the language. For example, like you listen to Macarena. One day you just pick it up like, hey, Macarena, without even speaking Spanish, right? And that's the same thing that happened with me with one song that was called Gongo Aso by those days. And then I went home. I was a musician already. I played the guitar, I played the piano. And I said, you know what, let me just make a cover and upload it on YouTube and see what's going to happen. And all of a sudden it went viral on the internet. It was all over. And that was the beginning of how I got into Afrobeats music.
You made a cover song.
Yeah.
And then it went viral.
Yeah.
But it didn't stop there. 10 years later,
Yeah.
you were on stage with the same guy you made a cover of, the same song you made a cover of.
Yeah, that's all.
In front of 14,000 people. That's crazy. Man, how did he do
That's
that?
the journey. Thank God. God made it possible so far. So, so actually the song that I covered was Gongo Aso by the artist Nice. And that song was like so big, even till now, it's one of the biggest songs out of Nigeria so far, what I think to me personally. And it was a very big song that really made a breakthrough for Afrobeat as well. So by this time when I made the cover of the song, years later, we've been in communication, like we knew each other somehow over the internet. And then we met for the first time in 2015 when I was in Nigeria for the first time. And then in 2017, there was the opportunity of the One Africa Music Fest in London. And Nice was on the lineup and we linked up before that and said, you know what, he wanted to bring me out on stage like as a surprise. And that's how we end up collaborating on stage, performing the song I used to cover out of my bedroom.
How did it make you feel? You were in front of 14,000 people singing the song with your idol.
Yeah.
How did it make you feel?
That was actually the biggest moment of my career so far, I would say.
Yeah.
And actually one of the biggest moments out of my life.
Were you nervous?
Of course. Yeah, but actually, see, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't take anything. No drugs, no nothing. It's just me and the passion.
Okay.
And over the years, I learned to, let's say, channelize the feeling of being excited. That was more, that is was working for me. So, of course, I was excited, but at the same time, I'm that type of guy. Anytime when something exciting is happening in your life, it's mostly for the better, right? It's mostly for the good. Because you get excited for each exam that you're writing, you get excited for any decision that you want to make, and mostly you get excited for things that probably move your life into like a better positive way. So that's the way I can't get enough of that feeling. And that was when I was standing backstage and like they gave me the microphone and I like whispered into it and like I heard my voice in the speakers like in the SSE Arena. I was like, wow, that's actually happening right now. And then I just got out on stage and made my thing.
No, I saw the video and you had so much energy, so much power.
Yeah.
So this nervousness, you took this nervousness and put it into the stage, and the people could feel it. So
Totally.
so that is important to translate this anxiety into power.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
You're right. You're
Yeah.
right. Totally right.
And I saw an interview where you said that when you were inspired by that song from King Gossa, am I correct?
Gongo Aso.
Gongo Aso,
Yeah.
you couldn't even speak English.
Yeah.
You didn't have any knowledge of Nigeria,
Yeah.
and now you speak English. You don't even only speak English, pidgin English and Yoruba.
Yeah.
I mean, how did you do that?
It was actually when I started, I grew up in Germany, and those days Germans are pretty known for not speaking English so well, which turned out to be a bigger advantage later on for me learning pidgin English, because I actually learned pidgin English before I learned proper English. That was the funny thing about it. So even till now, sometimes I learned proper English later on when I said, you know what,
Wait, for the audience, what is pidgin English?
pidgin English is actually like a slang, like a broken English. The way, for example, like the way Jamaicans sound, like people out the world is more familiar when you say, oh, the way Jamaicans talk, they have their own English. Nigeria or West Africa, they have their own English as well. So that's actually pidgin is for like communication through so many different tribes that they actually have one common language where everybody can communicate with, which is proper, very known all over West Africa. Let's put it that way.
So you speak pidgin English, you speak Yoruba. How come you speak Yoruba? How did you learn
Yoruba, actually, let me, even after 10 years, I'm still a learner on Yoruba.
Yoruba is
Like,
difficult.
Yoruba is a very difficult language, to be honest. And how did I manage it? Like, it's love and interest. Let's put it that way. That's why, I had friends around me, and I was telling them, you know what, since we can all speak German already, let me learn something new, speak pidgin to me or speak Yoruba to me, and let me see how much I can pick up of that. And that's how Niki Tall came out.
So you learned the whole culture of Nigeria, not only the music, but the whole culture behind that. So why was that so important for you?
I was interested in it, actually. I was very interested. I was always inspired. Like when I hear things about Africa, when I listen to friends what they're telling about Africa, most of them, they're saying Africa is not that what you see on media.
Say that again.
Africa is not that what you see on media. Even till now. I got this information like 10 years ago. And even till now, that information is still wrong out there. Right?
Yeah,
it's still
crazy.
like that people do believe, oh, Africa is just
Poor.
and this and that. No, not at all. Not at all. Right? So, and then I said, you know what? Since I already fall in love with the music, let me see what is beyond the music. And then, I got to know about, try to learn more about the culture, try to learn more about tradition as well. And the way actually Nigeria is. Like, I can only speak, when I talk about those things, I can only speak on behalf of Nigeria because that's where I've been to.
Yeah, Africa is big.
Africa is a whole continent, right? And people
huge.
start to generalize too easy and say, oh, Africa is this. But you cannot, it would be the same thing if you would talk about the whole Europe. Just like that.
Yeah.
So, and me, I really try to understand and really get deep into that and really find out what is behind that whole African giant.
So you went there the first time in 2015. What was your reception? What was the reception of you as an artist in Nigeria?
That was actually like a very, very, very. It was a very sweet experience, to be honest. It was a very sweet experience. I'm telling you, because it is. I was doing something on the media for so long already. I was doing covers, I was doing comedy sketches, I was doing videos, and like my videos they were already viral before I have even been there. And then in 2015, like I was really on the peak of my social media ratings, let's put it that way, because I had like 4-5 viral videos out at the same time. And then I said, you know what, it's the right time to go right now. Let me apply for a visa and let me just find out what I was actually doing for so many years already. And then I went there and I uploaded the picture those days when I landed on Nigerian ground. And then one of the biggest bloggers that was, even till now she is, that is Linda Ikeji. She put it on her blog and was like, oh, our own Oyinbo Boy, Niki Tall, finally in Nigeria. And that was the time it really picked up from 0 to 100 just like that. Then I was like, TV, radio, oh, he's here, oh, that guy he came here for real, like it's not just singing behind the camera. And that was the start of getting into the industry, actually.
So you had this feeling of celebrity, this celebrity
immediately,
feeling. Because everyone wanted to be with you, everyone wanted to interview you.
Yeah.
And this was special, wasn't it?
It was very special. It was very special, being honest, yeah.
Did you also go clubbing?
Yeah, sure.
How was the clubbing?
It was good because first of all, me coming from Germany, we didn't have Afrobeats parties just like that. Like it was more like, okay, normal hip hop or dancehall and blending in some Afrobeats music in between. But then you go actually where the music is originally coming from, and then you hear, oh, okay, they play this all night long, right? And they have so much more different songs and so much more local artists that are sometimes even in that moment much higher celebrated than the mainstream hits that goes out of Africa. And that was me like getting to know more artists, getting to know more songs. So that was like a very, very cool experience.
So you fell in love with Nigeria.
Yes.
How did your parents react to that?
That was actually another very inspiring story about my life, that God has closed one door and opened another one. Because before I started doing Nigerian music, like 6 months before that, my mom has passed away already. Mm-hmm. That was a sad side of it. So she never get to know me doing African music. It was more that my dad was only there. So my dad was really totally into it. And was like, you know what, you're a passionate musician already since I know you. And that was the time he said, you know what, just go for it.
What did you do to get there where you are right now? What would you advise those people out there to do and to get right?
First of all, you have to be like a visionary and you have to be a dreamer and actually start to believe and start to talk your things into existence. Like no matter what it is, no matter how crazy your dream is, like even that's what I tell people. Even if your dream is to become a musician in China, learn Chinese and do it. Go for it.
Learn Chinese.
Yeah, because that's what I did with Nigeria. That's what I did with, let's say, African music. Simply that. As like for you right now, if you're thinking about, okay, I want to become a musician in China, what do you have to do? Like you have to learn the language and have to get into it, have to understand the industry, have to make contacts, and then you can go for it. And no matter it doesn't have to be music. No matter what it is, if you have a dream, squeeze your time out and stay awake for that dream. Because what I did between 20 and 26, I had an average sleep of 3 hours per night.
What?
To stay awake, to manage doing a proper job, because I was working a 9-to-5 job, like a normal like shift rhythm job, even throughout the whole time when I was building up my career by the side. So that is pretty much, don't be lazy. Don't be lazy in your 20s. Let me put it that way. That's very important. Because those goals or whatever goal you're going for, especially if it's like entertainment, because that mostly happens between your 20s and early 30s, let's put it that way. Stay awake for that and make it work. Because, of course, as long as you're not privileged to come from whatever kind of rich family and you don't have to worry about your daily income, then you can actually be so privileged that they're just going to put you and throw you in there and just do it, right? But for me, it was like a different scenario. And that's why I said, you know what, just keep on focusing and just go for it. You know, it's going to worth it, because actually at the end of the day, you will regret it. And that's something you really have to keep in mind all the time.
So you were working full time,
yeah,
and at the same time pursuing your career as a musician.
Yeah.
And now you're here where you are.
Yeah.
Living your dream. That is fascinating.
Thanks a lot.
And what I was also talking to my friends is that, you know, Nigerian culture.
Yeah.
So if you want to achieve something, get in 100%.
Yeah.
Not 50, 100%.
Yeah.
And that is very important in any field.
In any field, no matter what you want to achieve in your life, I think.
Yeah. What is your goal the next 5-10 years from now on?
So far, the latest goal that I've achieved was actually to go into music full time, like to not to rely on another job anymore. So right now I'm already like enjoying the sweet side of being full time into what I love doing, and I want to go more for that. So the plan actually for 2019 was I released an album. That was the main goal for this year, and doing some couple of video shoots and planning, doing like strong promotions all over Europe and Africa. And then the goal for 2020 is actually to make collaborations, like bigger collaborations with bigger African artists. And I would say, not like that I said to myself, oh, I'm giving myself like a limit, like in 2023, I want to stop music and I have to achieve that. And if it's not happening, I'm stopping. It's nothing like that. It's more like the next 5 years, I think the structure is already there from what I'm doing. And it's just a question of time when it's going to succeed more and pay out more and benefit more from all of that. And that's really like I know the direction is clear already. So it's just about me waiting to arrive. Let's put it that way.
Great. Let's talk about your new album that you released this year, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about?
Actually, as the story says, like if you pay attention and look at the cover artwork, you will see me in an African dress showing you the screen of my phone, which is the first video that I covered, like the Gongo Aso cover that I did in my room. So that was more like a personal thing to say, okay, what is possible to achieve within 10 years? And that was me, the journey as an artist, how everything began. And if you look how everything started, and if you listen to the intro of the album, you can literally, it's a very long intro, but after that intro, you definitely know how I started, where I've been through, what has happened, and what I'm here for to do. And the album is pretty much like a side of me presenting you different sides as an artist. Because before I used to release like singles, which are all like Afrobeats sounding songs. And on the album, I would say the album is like 85% Afrobeats, Afropop, and the rest 15% is like a different side of Niki Tall that you can get exclusively like on the album. Songs that I wouldn't have released as a single like that, songs that are just on the album. For example, like a song like Feeling Good, it's more like an international pop song to show people, oh, okay, this is something else what you can do. So when you listen to the album, you won't get tired.
And what is the reception in Germany, your hometown?
Mm-hmm.
How did it go with your friends, with your family, with the people around you?
In Germany, like I was doing I was going for two goals at the same time. One thing was like the focus on the artist career. But during that time when I started, I was already like known in my hometown, or let's say in North Germany, as a DJ. So there was like a DJ Niki Tall, while there was a Niki Tall at the same time. So it was more like me. People knew me already for me doing music, playing music, being like a hype man, MC kind of thing. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, the guy that used to sing just on YouTube started to release his own songs. So the reception was already there because people knew me from something. It's just more like that I changed and like switched over and gave and added something to it, which was the artist side of me. And the reception was pretty good, like from the beginning on. There was like, oh man, because people have been telling me that for long. Say, why don't you do your own songs and release them? Why do you keep covering songs? Say, okay, I love the music. Then I sat down and then I really spent it like 2-3 years into production, like really getting, because it's a different thing about being a cover artist or being actually a producer, songwriter, artist at the end of the day, you know? And that was the journey which started since 2015.
We're talking about the best times of your career.
Yeah.
That you were in London, performing on stage with Nice.
Yeah.
What were the tough sessions, tough areas, tough periods that you went through?
I would say pretty much the beginning, like the first 1, 2, 3 years, because that was the time the Afrobeats music industry, especially in Europe, was not that strong yet. So, and I was like pretty new into that, and I was like pretty young at the same time. So it was a difference of you coming there right now as an established artist with an established brand that comes more like an artist people know about. It was a harder thing. Like the toughest time was in the beginning when you go somewhere, like obviously you don't get valued as you're supposed to think that you're supposed to get, and all that kind of like upcoming artist struggles, right? Where I think everyone goes through in his parts, because you have to balance. Oh, I need this show. I'm not getting the feedback that I they are not replying the emails as they would do to a proper big artist, and you're dealing and managing all that on your own. So there's like pretty much frustration you're going through at the same time. But I think it's all part of the journey. Some people are more luckier in that. Some people are less lucky on that. And I was always like, it will take his time, you know. It just needs his time. That was the time it was pretty tough at that time, because it was me, a young guy, trying to do something 100% on his own. And that's where you definitely face a lot of challenges at the same time.
Wow. Because when I see you on Instagram, on YouTube, you just see one side of the story.
Yeah.
You see this accomplished,
Yeah.
very successful guy in this industry. What you don't see is the struggle behind that. So I think it's always very important to also show the other side of the story.
I do that actually once in a while. Like once in a while, I do some posts where I'm talking about, like the reality of it, because I'm in that privileged situation. I don't have anybody behind me or like a management or a label that gives me instruction, like we have to brand or form this image or kind of thing, which is sometimes an advantage, sometimes like a disadvantage, because at the end of the day, you do whatever you want. It comes out 100% real, but sometimes it's not that. There's always a difference between transparency and thinking business-wise only, right? So I am that type of guy that actually shares when things sometimes didn't work out as they're supposed to be planned work out. Yeah, like I'm doing sometimes my results, I'm doing my research, like I'm analyzing what has happened, and I'm like really, okay, did those things like really go well? But I'm not that type of guy that says, oh, everything's super on social media. It's like sometimes you're not like, for example, like in my stories, you see it sometimes. It's like, oh, sometimes you arrive somewhere and nobody's there to pick you up. And then you're like, oh, that's like the superstar treatment that you're actually receiving, right? And then some people be like, oh, I didn't thought it's that way, right? And so, yeah, I'm that type of guy that doesn't mind to talk about the reality, because we all know that it's not all about the gram, you know? I think at the end of the day, right now we know.
Yeah.
And in case you don't know, now you know.
Why don't you have a management supporting you?
No, it's like more like the way I set a different strategy for myself was, since I became an international act pretty early and I got invited into too many different countries at the same time, there was nothing like, okay, let me pass that over to a manager, because there was so much to discover for me, which I wasn't aware about at the beginning, right? So there was more like, let me work with different representatives in different countries. Or with like, since I was a connected DJ already before, like, oh, okay, from DJ to DJ, you know what? Okay, we knew us already. So it's like, okay, let's try something new. So let's try to make a combination out of like, oh, bringing me over as an artist and put up a show together. That was more like the way I managed myself around the globe so far. And it's been working pretty fine. And whenever that comes, like, it's not ready. It's not like that I'm not ready to cooperate, but it definitely has to be someone that that is there for you, that shares your vision. Because like anytime when you're popping, when you're all over the media, and when everything goes fine, like so many people are hollering at you and one like, oh, we have opportunities for you here. Oh, let's do this, let's do that. So a good product already sells on its own. A bad product, that requires or needs a management, right? And that's the time when you mostly feel like, okay, when things are not really working out, then there's hardly someone around you that says, oh, you know what, I'm going to pick you along and let's do this. So I haven't met that person yet where I would say, okay, that is like my manager, and that's why I was on my own so far.
Niki Tall, aka Oyinbo Boy.
Yeah.
To your name,
Yeah.
Why Oyinbo Boy? Can you explain it?
Actually, Oyinbo Boy was a name that was given to me by my fellow Nigerians because I was not having an artist name in the beginning when I was doing music. I was not Niki Tall from the beginning. So Oyinbo Boy actually means, for those ones that, for the Oyinbo listeners as well, Oyinbo is a word, it means like light-skinned white. And like light-skinned white people are called that way in Nigeria already. Or let's say, even in West Africa, some parts they use the word. Okay. And so that was, for me, like I was reading through the comments on all my videos and I was like, oh, who is this Oyinbo Boy? Who is this Oyinbo Boy? And that means like, who is this white boy? And then when I continued doing what I was doing, I was like, okay, I need an artist name. Like Oyinbo Boy, white boy is not specific enough. Could be anybody. And then, Then I was already like DJ Niki Tall. And then I said, you know what, let me remove the DJ. So it's Niki Tall, also known as the Oyinbo Boy. And that's how you get along with Niki Tall, aka Oyinbo Boy.
So what is the reason for you being here in Austria today?
Tomorrow on Saturday, the 14th of September and the 14th of December is the Afrobeat DJs get together. Let's put it that way. And that's, I got an invitation from my brother DJ Trigger. Shout outs to you, man. And it's like the Afrobeats, Europe Afrobeats family comes together and they're making like a conference with an after party attached to it. And we are just, I'm bringing my own support from Germany. And let me come through and represent Germany for this one. And that's how I end up being here.
So there will be an after party?
Oh yeah, they have this conference tomorrow and then they have an after party where a lot of artists are going to be performing, a lot of DJs are going to be playing, and it's going to be it's a huge lineup already, and I'm glad of being part of it.
So guys, you want a party? You know where to go.
Check it out. Check my Instagram and Facebook out right now. Then you can definitely find me where I'm going to perform on the 14th of December here in Vienna, and hopefully you're going to come through.
You know what? Do you have anything more to say, to add to this interview?
I think we had it all.
You know what?
Yeah.
We're gonna play you a song.
Yeah.
And we're gonna dance to it.
Okay, no problem. You're a good dancer. Let's see. Which song are you gonna select? Right now I'm excited, man.
What do you think?
Oh, when it comes to dancing, from my latest album, could be Owale or Gbogbo Aye. They are Owales.
And you gotta sing to it.
Okay, let me sing to it.
Okay.
Mr. Niki Tall on the beat, baby. Poverty don't die, Owale. Ojuti awatami, Owale. Oh, I love my life. Oh my God, I love my life. Oh, I love my life. Oh my God, I love my life. Poverty don't die, Owale. Ojuti awatami, Owale. Oh, I love my life. Oh my God, I love my life. Oh, I love my life. Oh my God, I love my life. C'est la vérité. People they die because food in no day. La pauvreté pas terminée. Blessings go come, poverty stay away. Amen. Our children got dreams. Help them what they want to be. Our children got dreams. Give them opportunity. I go be footballer. Got plenty dollar. I got take care of me. Take care of my family. I run take care of me. Take care of my family. Poverty don't die. Ojuti awatami. Oh, I love my life. Oh my God, I love my life. Oh, I love my life. Oh my God, I love my life. Brother, how you day? Double your hustle cause money no day. Find work and stop the blaming. Don't transfer your poverty to your pidgin. I mean, our children got dreams. Help them what they want to be. Our children got dreams. Give them opportunity. I go be footballer. Got plenty dollar. I got take care of me. Take care of my family. I want take care of me. Take care of my family. A poverty don't die. Owale. Ojuti awatami. Owale. Oh, I love my life. Oh my God, I love my life, eh. Oh, I love my life. Oh my God, I love my life, eh. A poverty done die, oh. Oh, wale, oh, wale, oh. Ojú tí àwọn ọ̀tá mi. Oh, wale, oh, wale, oh. Oh, I love my life. Oh my God, I love my life, eh. Oh, I love my life. Oh my God, I love my life, eh.
That was nice, man. Super.
Dankeschön, danke.
So this was the Black Experience. You were listening to Riba Mugachi. See you soon, next week. Niki Tall?
Thank you so much for having me here. Vienna, peace out. Niki Tall says so, one love.